Join ForumIAS Academy, trusted by hundreds of toppers, including IAS Rank 1 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐥 Sharma.
Hello and welcome to ForumIAS. Today is 6th October 2023. This is Indumati coming to you with the most important articles of the day. Let us go to the first article. The first article is about stubble burning. In this article, we will see what is stubble burning, why it is happening, what are the possible solutions, what are all the impacts of stubble burning. So what is the context? Why this article is in news? Because the paddy harvest is going on. The key kharif crop, which is paddy, it has reached its maturity and now it is being harvested. So this harvest season is going on in Punjab and the perennial problem of stubble burning has resurfaced. So as of now, the state has faced 656 farm fire incidents, and compared to last year, there has been a 63% rise in stubble burning incidents. So, what is the article saying? The article says that the stubble burning is a contributing factor for air pollution across the country's northern region, especially the national capital and surrounding areas. Every year we know and we read in the newspapers that the Delhi is choked with pollution during the Diwali time, and a precursor for this is the stubble burning. Punjab government made a commitment to deal with this problem and they had aimed to reduce the stubble burning incidents by 50% this year. But it has not been fruitful, as is evident from this statistic that there is a 63% rise instead in stubble burning incidents. Before going into the impact solutions, we should understand what is stubble burning. So it is a method of removing paddy residue. So we know that paddy is a grain. Once the grain is collected, once the paddy is harvested, there are some farm residues and how they are being removed. That process, one of such process is stubble burning. So it is simply setting fire on the raw stubble after the harvesting of grains. It can be any grain, paddy, wheat, any grain. But the thing is, it is more serious problem in the winter because of the westerlies. We know that westerlies blow during winter and whatever smoke is there in Punjab, it carries towards Delhi. So that is the problem here. What are the effects of stubble burning? First is pollution. Because we are burning organic waste, methane is released, that is CH4, carbon dioxide is released and volatile organic compounds are released. Volatile organic compounds are hydrocarbons which can decompose easily. Okay. Apart from this, stubble is a organic matter, and as a result of burning of organic matter, black carbon is also emitted. And this black carbon ultimately it travels to the Himalayas, it settles on the glaciers and it accelerates glacier melting. So though stubble burning as a process is taking place in Punjab, in the northwestern states, the impact is felt around the entire northern India because of melting of glaciers, because of smog situation in Delhi. Also, when the stubble is burnt, it rips the nutrients from the soil. So, farmers see this as an easy way to destroy all the farm waste. But then they are also suffering because this heat will rip out the soil nutrients. Also, there is a loss of moisture in the soil because of the heat. So, this stubble burning is harmful for both the farmer's productivity and also for the entire region as a whole. Why in this particular year there is a lot of stubble burning? The representatives of Punjab farmers, they have said that they are auguring well with the idea that there should not be stubble burning. But they are doing it because there is no viable alternative and there is no incentive. Even if there is an alternative, there is no incentive to take up that alternative. These are the reasons why incidents of stubble burning are increasing. So in this regard, what measures can be taken? First of all, what is the question here? How to deal with the stubble after the harvest? You can deal with stubble in situ method as well as ex situ method. In situ method is treating of this waste in the field itself. For example, there is a Pusa biodecomposer which has been researched on and produced by the Pusa University, which is an agricultural university. They have proposed using of this contraption so that the stubble can be decomposed. It is a biodecomposer. Ultimately, it will hasten the process of stubble decomposition and the stubble itself becomes manure. Because of the Pusa biodecomposer. There is off-site treatment or ex situ treatment, wherein the rice straw is used as a cattle fodder. So this kind of activities are taken place by NGOs also. For example, in the villages of Delhi, in the outskirts of Delhi, NGOs collect this farm residue and they manufacture manure out of it and they sell it as a low cost manure. So these are some viable alternatives. There is also the turbo happy seeder machine. Why stubble is being burnt? They want to clear the field for the next sowing. Now winter is coming, there will be the rabi crops which will be sown. So this turbo happy seeder machine, what it will do is, it will uproot the stubble and it will also sow the seeds in the area cleared. So the stubble can be used as a mulch for the field. Mulch is used to retain the soil moisture. That is, in the field itself, the mulch will be there, and when the field is irrigated, the mulch will hold the extra moisture. So thereby, this mulch will help in conserving the soil moisture. Happy seeder is a very beautiful alternative, but the thing is, it is costly. So what can be done? This happy seeder machine can be leased out to farmers so that it would be affordable for them. Because why are the farmers not purchasing a happy seeder machine? Because it is very costly and it is going to be useful for them for 1 or 2 times a year. So it is very costly an investment. So what can be done? There can be self-help groups or farmer producer organizations. They can buy this happy seeder machine and they can rent out these machines to individual farmers. Thereby, it will make it as a viable alternative. And this is the analysis of stubble burning. We saw what is it, what will it cost, how to tackle it, what is the current problem, and what can be done about it. The next article is about Bakal Fort. The Kerala government, they have brought about a caravan park which will be publicly funded to improve tourism in the Bakal Fort. In this context, we have to know about the history of Bakel Fort, because there is a possibility of these sort of questions being asked in UPSC prelims. So, the Battle of Talikota, which led to the defeat of Vijayanagar Empire. The Bahmani Sultans, they united together to defeat the Vijayanagar Empire, and the chieftains of the Vijayanagar Empire were the Nayaks, and these Nayaks were present in present-day Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka. So these Nayaks were the local chieftains of Vijayanagar Empire, and they were representatives of the Vijayanagar king. But once the Vijayanagar Empire itself was destroyed after the Battle of Talikota in 1565, these Nayaks became powerful in their region. They had nobody over them, so they asserted their own power. So this Bakel, it served as a hub to dominate and later defend Malabar. The Keladi Nayaks, they used this Bakel as a center to control Malabar region. This town was economically important at that time, and as a result of this, the Nayaks wanted to fortify the town of Bakel. So in this regard, Hiraya Venkatappa Nayak, he initiated the construction of this fort, and this particular fort was completed in 1650 AD by Shivappa Nayak. Shivappa Nayak, he inaugurated the Bakel fort. Now you understand the timeline. Initially in this region we had Vijayanagar Empire, then we have the Nayaks. The Nayaks became powerful and they fortified Bakel. Later, this Bakel fell into the control of Mysore kings during the reign of Hyder Ali, because Hyder Ali conquered the Nayaks and the Bakel fort came into his control. After Hyder's death, Tipu Sultan took control of this, and Tipu Sultan led military expedition to capture Malabar from this Bakel fort. So if we take the map of Kerala, so imagine in the northern part of Kerala in Kasargod, this Bakel fort is located, and Tipu ruled the Mysore region, which is somewhere here, and from Mysore he came to Bakel, he camped out here and tried to capture the Malabar region. But after the death of Tipu in the 4th Anglo-Mysore War in 1799, this fort came under the control of British East India Company, and it ultimately became the headquarters of Bakel Taluk of South Canara district in Bombay Presidency. Bombay Presidency, it is not just restricted to modern day Maharashtra, it even extended till southern Karnataka and northern Kerala. So such huge area was under Bombay Presidency. Ultimately, this Bakel fort was under Bombay Presidency. So we have Tipu and then we have the British. So this is the timeline for the Bakel fort. Next article is about diabetes. It is becoming a public health emergency now. So what is the author saying in this regard? We will see. So 11.4% of India's population, that is 10.13 crore people, are living with diabetes, and 15.3% of population are pre-diabetic. They are at risk of acquiring diabetes because of their lifestyle choices. Moreover, 28.6% of the population would be considered as obese, which is close to 30% of the population. Such is the dismal situation of lifestyle diseases today in India. And the author of this article says that the consumption of ultra-processed foods is leading to this kind of obesity epidemic and diabetes epidemic. WHO says that the World Health Organization says that the ultra processed foods and beverages, they are aggressively marketed. What are these ultra processed foods? These are the carbonated drinks without taking any names, instant cereals, chips, fruit flavored drinks. Juices are not healthy because they also have massive amounts of sugar. If you are getting fresh juice from a Thela, at least he doesn't add sugar. But if you purchase from Tetra packs, then it has added sugar. It is as harmful as other carbonated drinks. Then we have instant noodles, cookies, ice cream, bakery products, energy bars, sweetened yogurts, pizzas, processed meat products, powdered infant formulas. These are all ultra-processed foods. And these ultra-processed foods are leading to diabetes and obesity epidemic. So, if there is a 10% increase in consumption of ultra-processed food a day, it is associated with 15% higher risk for type 2 diabetes. So, even a little bit of increase of ultra-processed food in your diet will increase your chances of diabetes by 15%. Why this ultra-processed food is harmful? Because its structure is destroyed, and to this ultra-processed food, to make it ultra-processed, cosmetic additives are added, colors are added, flavors are added. That is why they look very appetizing, and they also are very addictive. They are very tasty, and this results in people eating more, and as a result they gain weight, and this heightens the risk of diabetes and other chronic diseases. Ultimately, obesity and diabetes will lead to heart disease and deaths. So, why is this happening? It is because the food industry has been given a free rein. They are able to market these kind of products aggressively, and people are also succumbing to that aggressive marketing. So, the sugar sweetened beverages, their sale has fallen in the last 20 years in high income countries. So, to make up for those losses, these companies are now focusing on low and middle income countries. As we know, India is a middle income country. The high income countries, the West, has waken up to the perils of these kind of carbonated drinks and ultra processed foods. Now, we, the global South, are falling victim to these kind of food products. So, this marketing campaigns, they target younger generation, and they target the growing middle class. And moreover, a juice carton is only 10 rupees, and it is very affordable also for the middle class, and they don't have to look for healthy options. It is easy for them to choose unhealthy option than go for healthy option because of this marketing campaign. Anywhere you walk on a street, we will come across these kind of food products, either at a kirana store, either in a banner, in an advertisement. So, such is the ubiquitousness of these kind of products. So, children are exposed to cartoon characters, they are given incentives, there are even chocolates which have little toys inside them. So, this also prompts the children to buy this, and over a period of time, they get addicted to these kind of ultra processed foods. And we also have celebrity endorsements. This also determines consumption decisions. So, as a result of it, there is a public health crisis. That is why we are studying for our GS mains. Public health comes under GS2 portion. So, this article is being discussed here. And this ultra-processed food and the resultant diabetes, it is a ticking time bomb. It is a public health hazard. The authority, that is the FSSAI, the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, they have not given a very strong response to these kind of aggressive marketing campaigns. They are merely suggesting front of package labeling, but they are not actively enforcing that. Like the cigarette boxes have front of package labeling which shows that cigarette consumption is harmful for health. Similarly, these kind of ultra processed foods must also have front of package labeling. But then the blame is put on people. It is said that, oh, the people should exercise. Yes, exercise is an important factor, but more than exercise, public health is determined by food consumption pattern. So, there must be more control and more regulation on these food companies. So, there should be a regulatory policy which restricts the marketing of ultra-processed foods. They should not be aggressively marketed like how cigarette is not marketed, right? Similarly, these kind of ultra processed foods at least should not be aggressively marketed, and there should be warning labels on the junk food and beverages. So in this context, what should be a way forward? The government should take regulatory measures. They must first define what is healthy food, and they should mandate a warning label on unhealthy food. And they should also restrict on the promotion and marketing tactics of unhealthy food. So, why we must have a warning label on unhealthy food? People must be informed of the risk. They should not be consuming this over and over again without informed consent. Similarly, the same tactic is used in the cigarette consumption. People are voluntarily consuming it despite knowing the harmful effects. But that is not the case for junk foods. People are consuming it. If there is some kind of label, it would nudge and it would probably shift the behavior, shift the kind of consumption pattern to fresh fruits, coconut water, etc. And the governments of South Africa, Norway, Mexico, they have recognized this and they have taken similar actions of providing warning label on junk foods. Similar measures can be emulated in India also, and we have an Indian example also. The Infant Milk Substitutes Feeding Bottles and Infant Foods Act, it flattened the growth of commercial baby food. The commercial baby food did not get marketed aggressively after this act was into force. So similarly, we can have an act, we can have regulations for controlling junk food consumption. The next article is about media censorship, especially online censorship. This article is in news because of a new report by Freedom House, and this Freedom House is a Washington-based non-profit organization. And this report says that global internet freedom has declined for the 13th consecutive year. The Freedom House, it has released a report called Freedom on the Net 2023, the repressive power of artificial intelligence. So, this report says that there is an increasing use of artificial intelligence by governments for censorship and spread of disinformation. So, there is a sharpest rise in digital repression in the country of Iran. So what they are doing is they are shutting down internet service. They are blocking WhatsApp and Instagram, and they are increasing surveillance so that anti-government protests are quelled. So this is digital repression, reducing the access to the internet, and even if there is access, people are not allowed to freely express themselves over the internet. This is digital repression, and Iran is the #1 country in the domain of digital repression. Similarly, China, for the 9th straight year, it is the world's worst environment for internet freedom, and Myanmar is the second most repressive for online freedom. So China, Iran, Myanmar are very much active in quelling internet freedom. And there are a number of countries which undertake arrests, and they even put people in jail for expressing themselves online, for their online activity. The number of countries which put people in jails for expressing themselves on the internet has increased from 18 in 2014 to 31 in 2023. More and more countries are restricting internet freedom, and it is seen that in many countries, before the election, the incumbent leader, the current leaders, they criminalize broad categories of speech. They block access to independent news sites, and they impose other controls over flow of information. By restricting the flow of information and by blocking independent sources, what they are trying to do is they are trying to sway the election to their side. They are abusing their current power to come back in power once again. Now coming to India, there was a BBC documentary which the Indian government asked YouTube and Twitter to take down. Because the government ordered such a restriction, the two platforms, that is YouTube and Twitter, they used automatic scanning tools to sweep any additional posts that share the film. So this is also an artificial intelligence enabled digital repression. And this particular report, it ranks countries based on 5 parameters. One is internet connectivity restriction. Second is blocks on social media platforms, blocks on websites, blocks on VPNs, that is the virtual private network, and finally the forced removal of content. And in India, among all these 5 parameters, all are done except VPN blocking. We have seen internet connectivity being shut down in many parts of India. In many parts of India, whenever there is a riot, they restrict the usage of WhatsApp and other social media platforms. These kind of activities are restricting freedom of expression of the citizens. So this particular report scores countries from a range of 1 to 100, where 100 represented highest digital freedom, and in this, India scored 50. Iceland scored 94, and it has the best internet freedom. So here you can see Iceland is free, UK is considered free, Germany is considered free, US is considered free because their score is above 75. Brazil, Sri Lanka, India, they have their score between 50 to 70, and they are considered as partly free, and Pakistan is considered not free because the score is a dismal 26. Next article is about Purchasing Managers Index, and specifically it is talking about services PMI. So the services PMI in September raised to 61 compared to 60.1 in the previous month. This shows the increase in services, increases in demand for services. So coming to our exam point of view, we have to study about PMI. The PMI, it is the index of prevailing direction of economic trends in the manufacturing as well as the service sector. So basically it is a survey. What they do is they approach the purchasing managers and they ask what is the perception of these purchasing managers about key business variables. what is the demand, what kind of orders are coming in, what is the availability of raw materials. These are some of the key business variables, and the S&P Global, or specifically the market which is part of S&P Global, they conduct this survey. They approach these purchasing manager and ask these purchasing managers questions about key business variables compared to previous month. Based on this, the purchasing manager's index is calculated. So why this index is needed? It will provide information about current as well as future business conditions, and it will give information to market analysts, market makers, investors to take a decision about their investment, their next course of action, and that is informed by insiders themselves, who are the purchasing managers who know what is the current scenario. So this PMI is calculated, as I already said, for manufacturing and services sectors separately, and there is also a composite index which composed of both manufacturing as well as service sectors. Again, PMI score is from 0 to 100. If the value of PMI is above 50, it means expansion. A score below 50 denotes contraction, and a 50 PMI indicates no change. So if the PMI of the previous month is greater than PMI of current month, it is contraction. But here if you see, the PMI of previous month was 60. PMI of September month was 61. So it has increased. So there is a expansion of business demand in the service sector. And this PMI is released every month. And this PMI is compiled for 40 economies worldwide, and it is conducted by IHS Market, which comes under S&P, that is the Standard & Poor Global. So that's it for discussion. We will see some PYQs. Economically, one of the results of British rule in India on the 19th century was dash. Increase in export of Indian handicrafts? No. Because of the British rule, the Indian handicrafts got destroyed. So how can they increase the export? So A is wrong. Growth in the number of Indian owned factories. This is also wrong, because during the British period, there was deindustrialization. So Indian owned factories did not go in a rapid scale. Next option is commercialization of Indian agriculture. Yes, this is the right answer. Why? Because now the land became saleable, leasable, rentable, because now there was a patta. There was a land deed, and this made land to be saleable, leasable, rentable. Also, the British introduced cultivation of commercial crops such as tea, indigo, etc. So, the British era saw commercialization of Indian agriculture. So, C is the correct answer. Next, in which of the following areas can GPS technology be used? Mobile phone operations, banking operations, controlling the power grids. GPS is the global positioning system. GPS we use day to day in our Google Maps. So they can use technology to identify location. In all these areas, GPS can be used. So answer is D. Next, the Reserve Bank of India manages and services Government of India securities, but not any state government securities. It is wrong. The Reserve Bank of India is the central bank, and it is the banker to the governments both in the central level and state level. Treasury bills are issued by Government of India, and there are no treasury bills issued by state governments. This is correct. Treasury bills are short-term instruments through which the government of India borrows. State governments are not allowed to take advantage of this instrument. Treasury bills are issued at a discount from the par value. This is also correct because the treasury bill, they don't have a coupon rate. So if the face value is 100 rupees, the treasury bill is sold at 94 rupees. So this 6 rupees is the difference and that is the interest. So they are sold on discount. Say for example, government wants to borrow 100 crore rupees from the public and they are using treasury bills as a measure to borrow. So now they are selling this bond, this treasury bill for 94 crores, which means 6 crore. Later what will happen if this is a 3-month 91-day tenor treasury bill? So after the 91 days has elapsed, government has essentially borrowed, right? The government will give back that 100 rupees. So they borrowed for 94 rupees. They borrowed 94 rupees and they are returning 100 rupees. This difference 6 crore rupees is the interest. So they are issued at a discount from par value. Statements 2 and 3 are correct. So answer is C. So that's it for our discussion. Follow us on all these social media platforms. Thank you and all the best.